Hello and welcome for the final time to the Elite of Europe tonight here, streamed by Curse.eu, featuring your truly Metas and the lovely Pulse. We are on the loading screen. My game appears to have thrown a bit of a hissy fit, but there we go, we are in now. And this is going to be the last game, as I said before. Grand Finals, Curse.eu and Mouse both have 1 point in this best of three, $4,000 to first place, 2.5k to second place, and the only question left to be answered, Pulse, who do you think is going to take this?
Okay, so Mouse have an extremely aggressive early game. They have a very strong early to mid game. Looking at Curse, they're looking to survive. Clarissa on Soraka, farming lane, that's what they're trying to do. And Mumu just needs to survive when he can get to team fights. Orianna quite competent, but again Irelia fairly weak in the early laning phase, but as soon as she gets to the later laning phase and the team fights, she's good to go, she's very strong. Curse needs to survive.
Alright, so you think the Curse are going to be happy to kind of progress through into the mid to late game then?
Yeah, later game to late game, unless they can actually pull themselves ahead. But with weaker gank lanes like this, they're not looking to do so, I don't think, and Mouse are looking to punish them hard and sustain a sort of really strong game. That's what they're trying to do here.
Alrighty, well, we did have some aggression at top lane against Slapper, but he was using Valkyrie, so once again, you put a point in Valkyrie under duress, and he'll be able to escape without having to burn one of those oh so important summoner spells, of course in the form of Flash. So he will be escaping. I just wonder if we're going to see AD support top lane here for Curse. Slapper is in Tribush at top, and also Irelia on Anguish is at bot lane, so we could be seeing an inverted lane here from Curse. Would be very interesting. Again, you see this typically against Yorick's, because Yorick is a very strong 1v1 champion. Sometimes throwing off at the beginning, letting you support an AD, pressure them at top, stopping his farm and lowering his XP and levels, will then later on, when Anguish switches with the two top players, give him an advantage inadvertently. We saw this before. We are going to have a jungle invade though from Mouse, who are just ploughing forward into blue, doing enough damage onto Clarissa to force her back, but nice smite coming in from Maluno, and he will get blue regardless. So that jungle invade did not pay off for Mouse.
Can I just get a quick time sync with you? Because I'm at 20, 21, 22, 23.
You're about a second behind me, dude. I'm on 26 now.
Okay.
Alright, but really good play from Maluno. Taking back that blue, it looked like it was lost, and he just pops in with his smite. And there you go. He even said in chat, revenge for Baron steals. Nice that there's good-hearted banter between these two teams. So, strong start from Maluno. Going to be pushing towards his red, but we did call it before. We said, look, a Mumu is so dependent on his blue. Stealing that blue would have been a big body blow to Maluno on a Mumu. But taking that one back, you see what I mean? Maluno and Mumu, it really doesn't
Tongue twister. Yeah.
But taking back blue was a big move from him, his perspective. He so desperately required it to happen. It doesn't look like we're going to have the 2v1 actually. Slepper's going to be facing Yorick 1v1 at top lane, allowing Irelia and Soraka to go bot. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But as it is, Yorick's going to eat him alive. However, Maluno looking for a gank, a nice flash, he'll be out of there. Yeah, that was really nice. If he'd been caught right there, top lane doesn't usually have wards this early on. If he'd been caught, that would have been a sure death. Corki got a lot of burst early on, and of course Profana could be caught once again.
Yeah, Maluno going back in, but Corki is a couple steps behind. In the meantime as well, they need to be careful because Dedrion is camping in the bush, and he has red buff on Shyvana. So, yeah, Slapper and Maluno did a smart decision not to keep pushing that and trying to take down Profana, because it would have backfired and then some. I really like this play from Curse.eu, taking Anguish bot, allowing Corki to go top lane. What I'm expecting to see happen is somewhere around 5 to 6 level, you're going to see them switch back over again. Anguish is going to go towards top lane, and I'm expecting to see Slapper go back towards bottom lane. So as soon as Irelia, you said before, she has quite a weak beginning into the game in laning phase, especially against Yorick. So once she hits about 5, 6 or 7, she can go up top of that and definitely contest with Profana. In the meantime, Slapper's going to get stronger and stronger at top lane, so by the time he goes back to bottom lane, he should be about a level above Candy Panda. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Really intelligent play, and it boils down to, they have a stronger early game, how are we going to react to it? And yes, I said they need to survive, but if they can do something else about it, bottom lane,
bot lane. Dax could be going down, but in fact they have managed to turn the tables here. Anguish is taking a lot of damage. Candy Panda not able to finish Anguish off, courtesy of the Astral Blessing and the armor buff that gives to Anguish. So really, at the moment for Anguish, it's just a case of trying to stay in close contention. Of course, it's going to be a bit stacked against him because Graves is an AD range carry. Anguish does not have range. However, the Blade Surge and the Equilibrium Strike will close that gap quickly. And it's just a case of holding in there and lasting as long as possible. We are going to have a gank in mid lane as well on towards Momo. Maluno is in hot pursuit here. Needs to flash away though. Tower aggro and also Dedrion will do that to you. Give you sudden terror chills. And he will be pulling back towards his own jungle. But again, I really like this play from Curse. I can see it working out for them.
Yeah, and just again, Dedrion in a perfect position. Once again, as you said, it's uncanny how synchronized they are, both junglers. They're always where they need to be. I mean, Shyvana was a couple seconds off, but she was still right there in mid very, very quickly. So as you said, this swap was going to work wonders for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the swap up once again. Because at the moment, Yorick's not completely destroying his lane opponent, and the wave's pushing as well. Yorick's trying to trade with Slepper, but there's way too many caster minions. Caster minions really hurt this early on to the game, and I often forget that.
Yeah, well, Yorick's having the same issue that Anguish is at bot lane, the fact that he's against an AD carry that's ranged and can continually harass him. So they're kind of in the same boat here. But of course, having Soraka alongside Anguish is going to allow Anguish to consistently be replenished with health over and over again. How much CS does Anguish have? 31 against Graves 39. It doesn't sound too good, but trust me, that's actually not too bad. That's pretty hot right now from Anguish.
Then again, you have to compare it to Yorick, and he's at 32, so he's just about the same. So it's not too much of a hit. Take a look at the ATI, it's 36 to 44. So actually, this is working out for Mouse very, very slightly.
Yep, Pathana's doing a great job so far. And we do have a potential tower dive in effect. Edgeron has moved all the way around to the side, but there is a ward in the bush, so playing a game of peekaboo, and has also been marked for death. So he's going to be moving back, of course. Not realizing that he'd been marked, but even still, pretty sure from the maneuverability from both Anguish and Clarissa that he had been spotted. It was fairly obvious. In the meantime, Maluno and also Extinct came down, were spotted from a ward near Drake, and they will be pulling themselves back. So it's a good idea, but it's the execution that counts. So you're going to have Irelia at 38 creep score and Corki 42. Let's compare that to the opposition. Graves on 50 and Yorick on 46. So it's starting to climb ever so slightly in Mouse's favour.
Yeah, then again, it's all about surviving, and they haven't died yet. Only 200 gold in the lead is not all that much. Bit of action happening at bottom, however.
Look at the damage that Anguish is putting out with that Blade Surge and Equilibrium Strike, as I said before. It does a lot of burst damage. You're not expecting it, and suddenly half your face has been melted off. But Candy Panda is going to come in. The collateral damage and the ignite. Here comes Requiem. Beautiful communication. That's going to be a double kill for Carthus. And he picks up the first blood on top of that. That was exquisite communication. Candy Panda knew exactly what Momo was about to do. So he's like, okay, I'm going to flash, ignite, collateral damage, put you both on low HP, and then my mid Moma, who I know can carry me to victory, is going to pick up the double kill. That's just awesome. That's flat out awesome from Mouse right now.
That was ridiculous play, and you know what? These players have got to be feeling tired right now, like everyone is. But they pull maneuvers like that, and that's why they're in the driver's seat, and while they're in the hot seat, playing right here in Champion Base, because they can do things like that. That was amazing. That was just amazing communication. Great job with Mouse.
People giving Moscow 5 and TSM so much love, but you can't deny that these two teams are just as awesome. They're so good to watch. Moma's going to get completely crippled from that shockwave, does land the Wall of Pain and the layaway, it's going to pick up the kill, but has he done enough to actually allow Dedron to come and pick up the pieces on towards Extinct? Extinct using that speed up to get away, and should be scot-free, so really nice play from Extinct straight afterwards, but it's going to allow Carthus to go back and buy up that blasting wand, so he is going to be very scary for the next few minutes in mid, and there we go, as I was expecting, around level 5 to 6, Anguish is going to go back up towards top lane where he's a bit more confident now against this Yorick. And that's exactly what's happened. Slepper in the meantime has gone bot lane and should be quite strong against this Graves. Having said that though, you have to tip your hat to Candy Panda. He made the play at bot lane for Carthus. Without his awesome flash, ignite and collateral damage, one after the other, Carthus would not have had either of those kills.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. However, Anguish has the minions pushed up to the turret, but he is like a level 2 behind Yorick, so that's going to hurt him a little bit. And Yorick is still going to be ahead of him. He said Yorkie there because I saw Corky at bottom. But yeah, they're really in a great position. However, it's kind of to be expected. I was talking about this before. Mouse have an extremely strong early game, so if they push their advantage, which they need to do, and exactly what they're doing, then that's how they're going to win the game. However, if Curse survive, which is kind of what they're doing because they're not snowballing out of control, they're not losing heavily, then they have a good chance of winning because they have really nice team fight and late game.
Yeah, the thing is that a couple of people in chat were saying, oh, Anguish is 5 against 7, how is this working for him? In that basis it's not, but you have to take into consideration that if Anguish on Aurelia had gone to face Yorick at level 1, it would have been a complete crush fest. Yorick would have pushed Aurelia back all day long, done so much harassment, so in that case it has worked. It's now just down to how well Anguish can play. Can he pick up the kills? Can he do good plays alongside his jungler? That's what we need to see. He's gone for Wriggle's Lantern, so the armor, the lifesteal, and the attack damage is going to do nicely against Yorick. But again, it's going to be down to whether or not we're going to have Maluno coming towards top lane. I have to say, though, that Maluno has not been quite as decisive as we've seen previously with characters like Malphite. That's not to knock him. He's playing a Moo. It's kind of influences the game in his own separate way.
For sure, and both junglers at bottom once again. Oh my god. They must be brothers. Separated at birth, has to be.
There's something in the water, isn't there? There must be, because these two are always just right next to each other every single time. And Mumu kind of pacing backwards and forwards. Dedrion is now going to come into that second bush. The tower is on low HP, and that could be quite dangerous for Curse. Having said that, though, the creep wave is pushing back. They do have a nice farmer in the form of Candy Panda, though. Crescendo has come in. Here comes Mumu straight away. Nice ultimate from Mumu. Is it going to be enough to save Slapper, though? Heal comes in as well from Soraka. Lots of tower aggro. And Mumu picks up the kill on towards Shyvana. Here comes the Requiem. Going to pick up one kill. Very nearly gets the second onto Maluno, who manages to escape with 33 health points. And Clarissa was also on low. So it ended up being a 1-for-1 exchange, but the tower also went down.
Wow, yes, they definitely came out ahead on that one. About 2k ahead right now, they are drawing ahead, but they need to sustain it. They can't let Curse dig in, and that's what they're trying to do. Take a look at Anguish. He's gotten a Wriggle's Lantern to try and stop himself being pushed out of lane. It's not so much desperate, it kind of is a desperation build, that he needs to just stay in and not die. And that's what they're trying to do. They need to force them out of their trench hole that they're digging for themselves. If they can push them out of their foxhole, then they're probably good to go. They just need to keep being aggressive, keep seeding them, keep on their objectives, and be really aggressive. And that's how they're going to pick up this game. So Curse recognise this, and again, in turn, they're going to have to do something about it. Honestly, the first Drake fight, I would just, if I was in Curse's place, I would just not go for it at all, because it's almost 100% that Mouse will get it, because they're just, not only are they ahead, their picks are probably stronger for the first team fight. However, if a Mumu and Orianna line up their ultimates together, then we could, as we said, see that great 1-2 combo. That kind of requires later mid-game to get something done there.
And speaking of late game, hello Karthus. he's kind of quite fed, and he's scary late game. Really scary. So, again, it's very difficult to see how this game is going to pan out. The Drake is going down, has been taken out from Shyvana. Now Momo's coming on the side. Momo's taking a lot of damage, though, from Extinct. Will be going down with very little resistance. Prathana's going to teleport in, but too little too late from the aspect of Momo. And that's going to be a run of ages finished off. In the meantime, they are marking onto Prathana. It's going to be Orianna and also Aurelia. They're going to be jiving on here. The Equilibrium Strike has been popped alongside Transcendent Blade and the Ignite. It's going to be a kill from Orianna in the end. Dragon's Descent comes in from Shyvana. They're heavily chasing Anguish. He flashes through the wall. Protectors come out from Orianna. And now here comes a crescendo from Dax. The pincer movement working very nicely to begin with. But unfortunately, Anguish was able to get away. And now, 5 players are back to back from Curse. And they're going to move as a unit. Having said that, Balluno is going to try and pick up the red buff. But with Shyvana in hot pursuit, and quite close. I'm not too sure if it's going to work out. They have managed to take down, but the ultimate comes in from Maluno. Does stun up Candy Panda very heavily, but used more as a defensive ultimate than an offensive one. They weren't expecting to pick up kills. They just wanted to use the ulti to ensure their safe passage back to spawn. So a lot of action, but only about 1 kill came out of that one, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, Moment died and Profana died, so that's 2 kills right there. However, that was the Drake taken by Mouse. So it was fairly even. Obviously, the global goal's a bit better, but Curse are getting to the point where they're not as far behind, and this is pretty good for them right now. This will allow them to slip into that stage where that Amumu Oriana ultimate is going to do wonders for them. Allow that front line to be in front of Corki so he can output the damage. Again, Angus being on that front line, but they just need to not get shut down by this incredibly strong early game team. And as you said, they have pretty good late game scaling as well. Hello, Carthus. However, Profana does kind of scale off, but Graves isn't. I don't think he scales as hard as Corki since his escape is tied to his damage steroid. But for sure, both teams are very strong mid game and late game. They have very good scaling.
The atmosphere and the intensity in this game is tangible. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Both teams really don't want to let up. They don't want to make stupid small mistakes that allow the opposition to get a kind of foot up the rung of the ladders. They really, really want to take this game home, and who can blame them? $4,000 up for grabs. And on top of that as well, it's pride. You know, I think these kind of teams get overshadowed a lot by the likes of a TSM or a Moscow 5, but you can see from this gameplay, this is a very high-class game. Lots of action, lots of escapes, great initiates, great engages. It's just been awesome all round. And long may it continue. So either way, 4-3, 21.1k goal to 19.5, one tower down, courtesy of Mouse. Very, very close 60 minutes through this game. MoMA had a nice opening, double kill, first blood, courtesy of Candy Panda's brilliance with the collateral damage and ignite combination. He now has 1,522 health as Carthus. So how is he going to try and set this one up? In the meantime, he is standing there, not doing too much. The ultimate is up from Carthus, but I don't think he's going to have any opportunity to use it just now. Doesn't look like we're going to have any 2v2 or 1v1 skirmishes kicking off around the map. But, with that being said, Dedron is making a move to top, and there is no ward down here. Irelia has been making a nice comeback, has bridged the gap to just 10 minions. As I said before, will get stronger the later this game goes. Sorry, but here he comes. He jumped in with Blade Surge at the wrong possible time. Dedron's here, uses the Equilibrium Strike, but he is being slowed down significantly from Yorick. The heal comes in from Soraka, and look at there, the hero himself, Maluno, comes up. Requiem has been popped in the meantime, though. He's not going to claim any kills, but does a fair amount of damage onto Anguish. In the meantime, the Dragon's Descent was also popped, and Prathana's Ghost will be chasing after the opposition. So a couple ultimates were popped in the process, but no kills go down. At bot lane, Corki is coming under heavy attack, and the Ignite is popping down itself. But Soraka is going to be able to heal him back up, no problems whatsoever. This is what I'm talking about. Such high-class play.
That was a great counter initiate, and Maluno and it's just weird how in sync they are. It's crazy. So he stopped that from happening because he almost knew what Shyvana was going to do and go for that gang. Very, very clever. So right now, it's only 2k advantage once again, and they're not out of it. They're not dying. And actually, meanwhile, mid.
Oh, MoMA is getting chunked down so quickly from the Amumu and Oriana ultimates, but he's managed to survive, and now the tower is doing so much damage, actually, to both Extinct and Maluno, that they are forced to pull themselves back. So they popped 2 ultimates and were not rewarded with a kill. So overall, not really worth it. Carthus is going to go back. He was happy to go back anyway. Built himself up a needlessly large rod and a couple sight wards, so his ultimate is going to be chunking down just a tiny bit more damage. Dedrion could be getting towered over, but the Q, the bandage toss, did not land from Maluno, but they'll take the mid tower regardless. So very, very close once again. I'm really enjoying this match, Pulse. What a fitting end to this tournament.
Exactly, and all the hype that the TSM and M5 got, this game, arguably, in my opinion, is much better. It's just perfect play from both teams, even this early into the morning. They've been gaming for so long, and it's just still perfect play. Crisp. And right now, it looks like Mouse are pushing down mid, just trying to defend this one out, and this is great play from Curse. They know, okay, we're going to stop these towers being taken, we're not going to lose any ground, we're going to stand our ground, we're going to make sure that we don't lose map control, and this is what they're doing. It's perfect. And they're just keeping themselves into the game, and of course I get the feeling they're going to outscale them into the later mid-game, to the point where they actually start picking up these team fights, because of that combination. That team composition is very, very strong. That being said, Mouse's team comp, well, it's just a lot of upfront burst. You've got Carthus in there, you've got Yarka does a lot of early game damage, Shyvana, huge base damage, burst from Graves, ultimate from Dax. It's just a solid team fight.
Very, very true. And it's going to come down to the execution, and it's that key word that we say time and time again, positioning. Which of the two teams is going to have the optimum positioning at the right time? and utilize that positioning to its fullest extent and take home that burst damage that we're talking about. The Graves, the Crescendo, the Karthus on top of that, just with his Defile in amongst all the action. The great thing about playing Karthus, one of the reasons I love playing him so much, it doesn't even matter if you die. You can just be really aggressive, hyper-aggressive, or you can also snipe off kills with his ultimate, as you saw at the beginning of the match with that double kill. Drake is being taken, and with Yorick at top lane, I'm not too sure that Mouse can do a great deal about this. We could see a steal coming in. Nice ultimate though from Orianna, chunking through Dax, and also the bandage toss as well. Wasn't even able to pop off any abilities whatsoever. Sona, we now do have Prathana coming in with the teleport. In the meantime, Aurelia will be going on towards Shyvana. Did Prathana actually come in too late? I'm wondering. I'm thinking it's very likely we're going to have 3 kills for 0 exchange. The first goes down. That's a 4 for 1 now. And Candy Panda is the last remaining player. He's going to flash the wall right into Maluna. Will pick up the double kill. Can he get the triple? This would be huge plays if he can actually shut down the Slapper. But instead, he's running away back towards his tower. Oh, he might go down. He's going to try and pop off Slapper, but he's not going to be able to do it. Nearly, Candy Panda. You nearly became my new favourite player of the world. Not quite, though.
Not quite.
It was close.
But it was. Oh, that was incredible. It looked like Mouse were going to lose that one because it was just like form a line, ladies, and just go in one by one and just get chunked off by Curse's team, which was very weird. And obviously the teleport came in from Profana as well. It was very odd, but Candy Panda just perfect positioning while all that was happening, while all the drama was going on, just picking people off silently in the background, just like an assassin. It was crazy. Unfortunately, he didn't get the triple, one auto attack away from it, and he was in the animation to try and take out Corki. It was just that split second. Got to be kicking himself. But right now, Curse have actually taken the lead because of that bit slip up from Mouse, and it's not looking too good for them because honestly, I feel that Curse's scaling is just a bit better. They didn't manage to shut down Amumu, he's gotten through it. Irena's only going to get stronger, and Orianna's really strong right now. Corki's got the Trinity Force. They're in a good position right now.
Yeah, we were saying before that Amumu's jungle gets heavily crippled early game if he doesn't get the blue buffs. At this stage, it doesn't matter anymore. He has burst through that kind of problem, and he's come out the other side very successfully. We are going to have a 2v2 at top, Karthus and Yorick against Irelia and Amumu, but no, we're not going to have anything happening. A bit of an anticlimax at the end. Going back to what we saw at the beginning, Slepper going top, Anguish going bot lane, a couple people were raising a couple of eyebrows. I think it worked. I think he's also managed to push through the other side here. Early game he'd have got crushed. He's came out 2 for 2 with 1 assist. Yorick's on 0-2-2. He's got the Phage, he's got the Heart of Gold, and the Wriggles Lantern doing a lot of nice damage. And Yorick really can't stand toe-to-toe with Irelia anymore. So it's been a huge success in that case.
Correct, he survived, and now he's gotten to the position where Irelia is stronger because she's got better scaling. And that it comes down to the fact that they survived. They trenched in, they dug a hole for themselves, and then they basically just survived. And actually, extinct.
Oh god, it's not a good position to be doing so much damage though, even if it does go down. Oh my god, he's still alive somehow. Can Extinct survive this one? Almost reminiscent of Candy Panda. So they're going to get a double kill. It's a 2-for-1 exchange thus far. And Slapper should be going down. Yes, he will from the Requiem. And that's going to be a 2 for 2 at the end of the day. Karthus, of course, did go into his death defied just for a couple seconds. But actually didn't work out as bad as I was expecting for Orianna. It was an AP mid and AD carry exchange for an AP mid AD carry. Karthus and Graves went down for ours, and for Curse you had Orianna and Corki. It wasn't as bad as it looked. At one stage it was a 3v1 against Orianna, and I was like, okay, you're so dead it's unbelievable. But actually made it work not too bad for them.
Yeah, Orianna was deceptively tanky. You generally see Orianna as one of those pretty weak champions in the sense that she's very squishy, but she just tanked through it. She's got so much AP right now, that Command Protect is really strong, meanwhile at top.
Yeah, Prathana is getting chunked down very quickly. The Amumu ultimate comes out, and Anguish will be picking up the pieces here alongside Maluna. Oh, for a second I thought he was going to get away. Anguish had already turned tail and ran, but Amumu will be picking up the ultimate. In the meantime, mid lane is being pushed, and has been taken out from Mouse, courtesy of Dedrion and Dax. So again, a kill for a tower. Not necessarily the best trade, but it's not terrible either. Also a blue's going to go to Orianna. And it's still very, very close. Yeah, it looks bad at 7-12, but gold-wise, 33.8k to 34.4. Extremely close, tense matchup still.
Exactly, there's nothing in it. And again, I'm in a position where, like, I swear this game's gone on for longer than it has. So maybe it's because of the time in the morning, but 24 minutes, it feels like 40. It's like so much has
Yeah.
happened, and it feels like it's the team fighting stage. You know what I mean? It just feels like longer into the game. It really does. Both AD carries duking out on bottom, and they just will be backing off.
Well, Slapper needs to be so careful. He's so far away from the rest of his team. He is going to get the kill, though, on towards Candy Panda, and flashes out of Crescendo. So Dank's blown Crescendo, and still his AD carry went down right in front of his eyes. In the meantime, at top lane, going to have lots of action. And Mumu fires in with the bandage toss on towards Moma, and amongst that, Extinct is being forced to run away. Shockwave was popped, not doing as much damage as it previously was. Dedran and Prathana should be able to pick up this kill fairly comfortably. The Protect comes in, actually, and the speed up. Extinct is managing to survive for way longer than he should have. Instantly, oh, I thought for a second that we were going to see Anguish and Maluna coming from the top to save Extinct, but still kudos to Extinct for managing to survive as long as he did.
And Oriana's deceptively tanky. She's actually got the Athenes and Holy Grail, a lot of survivability from that, and the Command Protect from the AP. It's just ridiculous. It just keeps on trucking. It's amazing to watch. It's just like, surely you should be dead. No, I'm still alive. And just carries on going. Absolutely amazing. Meanwhile, on bottom.
Yeah, we are going to have a 3 versus 2, but I think it's going to subside. I don't think Miles are going to chase this one down today. I want to put another shout out to Maluna because his Amumu play has been amazing. He's been jumping in with the bandage toss, doing so much damage. His ultimates have been dead on top of everything else. He's been doing so well. So definitely a big thumbs up to him. Gold difference, 300 gold as it stands after 26 minutes. Unbelievable. Drake is up. And Prathana's going to be starting that one off. Does have some help alongside Candy Panda, Dedrin and Dax. Karthus is en route, and you do have Irelia at top lane trying to push this tower. Irelia does not have a teleport, not even going to contest this Drake, and Shyvana will be picking that one up. So still, the gold is very close.
This is the last game of the tournament, and this is the closest game of the tournament. Wow. Slepper actually might be catching Dedron here, chasing after him, and Dragon Descent goes down. He should be good to go. But wow, this game.
2 AD carries are thinking of duking out for a couple seconds, but Candy Panda's going to pull back alongside Slapper as well. But you're completely dead on. It has been by far the closest game that we've casted thus far. This could definitely go down to 40-50 minutes. Quite easily, actually.
Just one of those epic games just keeps on going, and actually Candy Panda going to meet Extinct.
Needs to be careful because Extinct does a lot of burst damage and also has the cavalry behind. Anguish, Clarissa, and also Maluna were all lurking around. Slapper coming from the side as well. So Graves is going to go back. Don't run through that jungle, Graves. There's a lot of people waiting to mow you down. There is a ward down in the bush, so they know Maluna is still occupied there. They could use this to their advantage, feasibly. But here comes Maluna from the side. If you land the bandage toss, it would have been a great engage. Unfortunately, Graves is able to quick draw away. As he said, it's his main steroid, but it's also his main escaping mechanism. So it's strange in that sense that it's all in one. But it doesn't look like we're going to have a team fight kicking off anytime soon. So yeah, Irelia's going to go towards top, and then we move back towards his red buff.
Baron looks like a great opportunity for the next fight, but I don't think either team wants to go for a full-out engage. They basically just want to try and get a pick, try and get the situation where it's like a 3 versus 2 where they're going to be winning. They can't actually go for that engage if they get the upper hand first, because it's so close. It's just too close.
Oh, Shirelius has been popped. They know Aurelia's at top lane. This is going to be a 3 versus 5. Unless Molino starts to move around, he will. Q's in, and it's going to be Crescendo instantly landing on all 4 players. Beautiful play. Shockwave, you look at that burst damage. Now going to be chasing back in again. And Mumu pops his ulti too. This was a 4v5 situation, and Oriana manages to actually pick up a kill before getting killed off Graves. Now going to be jumping back in on towards Maluna. Maluna could very well fall in this situation. Karthus is in hot pursuit, but Karthus is going to go down, following on with the Requiem. Here it comes. Big damage onto Corki. And that, at the end of the day, was a 2-for-2 exchange in a 4 versus 5 situation. So Curse can be quite happy with that outcome.
But it all comes down to that beautiful Oriana ultimate, and then the follow-up by a Mumu, which is kind of like the opposite of what we were thinking was going to happen. Obviously, Mumu would engage, and then with the ball, and then immediately with the shockwave. But Extinct saw the opportunity and seized it. 4 people ultimate, completely shutting them down and stopping that push, and yeah, 4 versus 5, they came off even. And then Irelia came in from behind, looking to pick up some kills. Didn't quite happen because Mouse had maneuvered themselves, but even so, that was... it's just so close.
I cannot stress how good that shockwave was from Extinct. It was just perfect. It landed on everybody, pushed them together into the center, and allowed the rest of his team to pull back. And Mumu came in with a bandage toss. The ultimate wasn't the greatest ever, but it did enough to just hold them back for a few seconds, and that's all they needed was time. A 2-for-2 exchange in a 4v5 is a result for Curse. So they actually move ahead on gold now by 800. Still very, very close. Dax and Prathana need to be fairly careful and not overextend. There's lots of ward coverage down from both teams around Baron. As you'd expect, 30 minutes, Baron's still up. It's definitely going to be a key factor in this game, especially when it's this close. And you do see Curse with the Oracle on Clarissa, just getting rid of all of that ward coverage.
Yeah, both teams just poise themselves around this area, looking for that pick, looking for that good engage where they can get one person off guard, nuke them down, and then go for that 4 versus 5, and Candy Panda has disconnected, and we will have a pause. Not like this has happened before today.
Well, this definitely isn't the first time we've seen this, is it? So, let's have a quick recap on the game. This is the Grand Final third matchup, ladies and gents. Curse have won 1, Mouse have won 1. It's 44k to 45k, 3 towers to 4. Baron is up and definitely available for both teams to take should they choose. Very even on scores. Extinct has been doing a brilliant job as the AP carry. Amumu's been landing ultimate bandage tosses all over the place. On the flip side, you've got great play coming in from Karthus, from Candy Panda, setting up the double kill at the beginning of the game. Both junglers have been phenomenal. There's been no weak link in either team pulse. That's what struck out to me. No one has been playing poorly. Everybody's been on form.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that sticks out to me the most, actually, despite everything that's happened, Corky just said welcome back. It's sportsmanship. I really, really like it. Like, these guys are such great players, and they're nice guys as well. It's really nice to watch. It really is.
Yeah, and it makes me hope that they get recognition they deserve even more. I mean, everybody knows who Curse.eu is, and everyone knows who Mouse are, and these players, but I just hope that they get elevated to that next level of,
Sure.
where they have a lot of fans and they have a lot of people wanting to watch their games, because this has been so interesting, so enjoyable to watch from a spectator's viewpoint. Whoever wins this, I'm going to be happy, because the games have been so good. Here comes the wall from Karthus. He's doing a nice job of slowing down, and also for Vision, of course. And all 10 players are moving around the same area as you would expect in this kind of situation. For me, it's going to be down to that small mishap, or that, I said it before and I'll say it again, that small moment of brilliance from one of these players. Orianna and Amumu are more than capable of starting things off. They're both going to be recalling, maybe baiting. And on the other team, if Crescendo can be popped off in the right moment at the right time alongside a Wall of Pain, then you have to say that Mouse are going to be in a really strong position to engage this. So it's just going to come down to that brief second where something goes horribly wrong or beautifully right for one of these teams.
For sure. Curse is the stage where it's in mid-game, and it's later mid-game, where they're really strong. That being said, Mouse also have a great early game, which transitions well into a good mid-game. Both have really good transition, and they're very equal. It's come to the point where it is the most equal game you could possibly think of. Incredible. Right now, as you said, it's the execution of the engage. That's what they need. It's just whoever gets the better engage will probably win, because otherwise there's nothing in it.
That blue steal from Extinct.
Oh.
You cheeky little... I'm not going to say it. That's what I'm imagining Mouse are pretty much going on here. We are going to have a Shrelly's Reverie popped off. Ball quickly firing back, and that was such a good blue steal. It's not exactly the end of the world for Mouse at this stage, but again, it's just a touch of class from Extinct. He's going to be consistently spamming away those balls. Of course, it's really good news for him. Look at the damage he does onto Candy Panda, and we're going to have another pause.
Fantastic.
They're really trying to draw out the epicness of this game, aren't they? They know it's good, so they're like, hey, we'll just make everyone wait. We're going to tease them.
For sure. I'm not quite sure what the problem is this time around. But, it's intense. It's going to be one of the last team fights. And they paused at a really awkward moment, because it looks like someone's about to be caught as well.
They have. There's pings going down towards the middle of these two teams. Orianna's spamming away her Qs. We are back into the action once again. Wall of Pain did go down. Here we go. Crescendo has been popped. Worst possible time for that pause indeed. Kills are going down very shortly, you have to feel. Candy Panda will be going on towards Oriana, so AP carry is down. Look at his health, actually. In the meantime, Dax is going to be dropped, courtesy of Corki, going on to the second kill, perhaps, onto Deadrion. So just 2 kills exchanged in that huge encounter. Make that 3, double kill from Corki. Beautiful bandage toss from Maluna, making that kill a reality. So 2 for 1 exchange for Curse, and they're in prime position now to push these towers down. You're going to take the first now in middle. Will they go for the inhib afterwards, or will they go back and try and pick up Baron? Looks to be Baron they're going to go for. But they need to be careful because Candy Panda, Moma, and also Prathana are all alive. And actually, if you had to choose 3 players based on damage output to stay alive, it would be these 3. They do so much. It's not going to be a Baron attempt. They're going to go back to their jungle and just farm on up. But
Mouse are going to start it.
Mao is going to go, and there is a ward down. So, could we see an epic Baron steal? 34 minutes through the game in the grand final. Deciding matchup coming in here. Trelly's Reverie has been popped off. Slepper is taking point. Not the greatest of positions. Is going to Valkyrie away. Firing in the missile barrage. Prathana is trying his best to get in contention, but Amumu is going to go down from Karthus. Here comes the Requiem. Is going to pick up any kills. It's doing so much damage to Anguish, and also Clarissa on top of that. Extinct doesn't really take too much. They're going to go back onto Baron again. Shockwave pops in. Crescendo comes out, just missing onto Extinct. And they're going to reassume this battle onto Baron. It's a 4 versus 5 situation, though, against Curse. And if ever there was a time for somebody to shine on Curse, it's right here, right now. They can't get the smite steal because Maluno is down. Gray's going to go to Oriana. Baron has been taken. Galio back. Galio Karthus even. I don't even know where Galio came from. Karthus takes down Irelia. So a 3 for 0 exchange and the Baron on top of it. And still they're only 400 gold behind. So Mouse have picked up the kills. They've picked up Baron. And it's still this close.
And it almost looked for a moment like Curse were going to take this. It's just back and forth, back and forth. They did get the Baron, that's a big push, 18k gold in stats. Going to be picking up this. It's kind of a moment of, alright, you've got this tower, right? You got it? It's like no one, everyone just walked past it. It's like, oh. It's a really awkward situation. But they will be pushing... Go ahead.
I just read in chat, they're like, Galio OP nerf him. Indeed, he doesn't even need to be in the game. He's that strong, he still has an influence. Just saying. I don't even know where it came from. I was like, oh, Karthus, Galio, same champion apparently.
Pretty similar, you know? I can see where you made a mistake, obviously.
Yeah, that is going to be a mid tower and inhib falling. And this game just awesome. It just gets better and better. When you think it couldn't get any better, it delivers. Drake is now going to get picked up from Mouse. Dedrion, Dax, Moma, and Prathana all moving around the same position. You do have Graves farming top, and there you go. Confirmation: blue team has slain the dragon. How much gold do they have? Lots and lots by looks of things.
Oh, Extinct!
Oh god.
The call out here has been, yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. Pops the Shockwave as a desperation, but nothing you can do about that one. Nice pick from Mouse, and now they're going to push the nail into the coffin. They have Baron, they have a pick, 4 versus 5. Yeah, it's looking good for them right now. They could, they need to make this push count, basically.
Wow. We kind of saw the flip side where Mouse kept getting caught out before, and I was saying that's what caused them the game. This time around, that Extinct getting caught in that position could have just been game over. Not directly, but indirectly, because this is going to be a second inhibitor, more than likely. Having said that though, Graze and Sona are pushing mid instead. They're now going to come around from the side, so maybe trying to pincer in around the backside here. Valkyrie was used from Slapper to try and escape from the onslaught. And here comes the chase now. Prathana jumping across. Still 4 versus 5 the next 10 seconds. That is going to be the inhib tower going down. Maluno has been exhausted, forced to flash away. Crescendo comes in, but it's not going to land on anybody. A whiffed ultimate, but still second inhib falling. As I was saying before, indirectly Extinct could have just kind of made a huge blundering error that caused his team the game. He's been magnificent up until this point, so I don't want to knock on him too much. But that's 2 inhibs, and now the top tower will be falling on top of everything else. And I think this is the highest goal difference we've had in this game so far at 5k.
Yeah, wow, this is incredible. Finally, some headways being made by Mouse, but they're actually going to go ahead and recall. They can't make any more headway, I don't think. They can't go onto that turret with 5 versus 5. They will probably lose that one. Going to go ahead and recall and do so. But 2 inhibs down, that's really going to hurt them, especially with Baron coming up. in the near future. It's just when you have two inhibs down, you have to make that decision. Go for Baron, do you try and stop them and potentially lose anyway, or do you try and stop the super minions from basically bashing down on your Nexus turret and possibly inhibs if they respawn by then?
Some people say in chat, Galio carrying the team, yo. Indeed he is. Full item build and everything. The guy is a beast. But yeah, 2 inhibs down. This is the first time that we've had a clear-cut advantage to one team in this game. And Curse are going to have to battle back really hard. It's still not over. I was saying before that Orianna may have just caused her team to lose. They are way behind at this stage. Map-wise behind, also gold-wise, item-wise, every single way possible they're behind. But the game hasn't just been finished yet. There is still life left in Curse. If they can get a good engage here on the tower, they can pull this one back. But it's all going to come down to this. You feel like the next team fight is going to dictate whether Curse sink or swim in the grand finals. Is Maluna going to pull off something special with his bandage toss? Is Extinct going to make amends for that previous slip-up? Here we go. Anguish popping in. Orianna does pop up the ultimate. That was very, very good. Amumu straight afterwards, though. You don't have a crescendo popping in from Sona, so Graves going to drop very, very quickly. But now you're going to have a lot of damage being exchanged back on towards their team. Requiem coming in. How many kills is going to pop off? It's going to get one. Very nearly gets a triple kill, in fact. Almost a quadra. Carter's coming in with a second kill. And now Anguish is all that stands underneath that tower. So it was a beautiful start to that team fight from Curse. But unfortunately, a 2-for-2 exchange is simply not good enough at this stage.
Yeah,
So,
it was a good exchange, 2-for-2, but ultimately they lost a turret and they're slowly being pushed in now. And Nexus turret taken as well by super minions while they're distracted. And that is the horrible thing when you have 2 inhibs down. You have 2 inhibs down and then you go for a team fight, okay, you may come off even, but you've just lost 4 structures.
definitely. I think Orianna started off well, but unfortunately the positioning wasn't amazing. Went down very, very quickly in the team fight. But it has to be said, that exchange was an AP carry and a support for AP carry and AD carry. So it wasn't necessarily the worst trade ever for Curse.eu. Yes, they lost the tower, but they're still in the game, and that's the important thing from their perspective. Had they have lost that fight, the game was over. It's that simple. They would have been pushed and they would have won. But they're going to have to play quite safe. The middle inhib has respawned. They're still waiting for bot inhib to respawn, and after that has became a possibility, maybe they're going to be a bit more aggressive. The worst case scenario right now for Curse is for them to get caught out of position, and it looks like Shirelles has been popped off from Dax. Now going to be pushing through this mid. Curse are going to have to make something special happen here, Pulse.
They're looking for the engage.
Muno's going in, Prathanis taking a lot of damage without any retaliation whatsoever, going to get burst down an instant. Crescendo has come back though, Maluno running all the way in there all by himself. Oh, the shockwave was actually popped on Maluno, didn't quite land onto anybody apart from Candy Panda, I believe that was, but they have picked up 2 kills. The flash comes in, Momo is going down very quickly. This is the moment of brilliance that I was talking about previously, and Curse are pushing very aggressively, 45 seconds before either Yorick or Sona respawn. 50 seconds before Karthus. They could push the victory right here. The only thing that's standing in between them and a win is Graves and Dedrion. Can Graves and Giovanna pick this one up for their team? Can they manage to defend this one long enough? That 25 to 30 seconds. Can they buy their team some time? Anguish taking a lot of damage from the tower. But Slapper on high HP. Maluno pretty much on full HP. If he lands a good bandage toss onto Candy Panda, it could be all over. So much burst damage from Slapper here. They're going to be chasing over this tower. Will pick up the kill onto Graves. That's going to be an inhib at least. Graves now down for 63 seconds. Over a minute for the rest of Mouse to defend. And after taking the inhibitor, they're going to go back and pick up the Baron. More than likely taking Baron. Smart play from Extinct in the meantime, making sure that those super minions do not push the Nexus tower down. That would be a real slap in the face. So Curse going back towards Baron, but they're not going to be taking that just yet. They don't want to risk it at this stage of the game. But in doing so, they may actually give up a free Baron to Mouse. So the drama continues.
I guess you could say it would be a real slap in the face.
Oh, you. You've been waiting 2 days to
I
pull that
have.
one out, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Bass wants to have his "I see what you did there, man" ready, just to pop up when that joke was made. Baron was kind of, I don't even want to say attempted. Prothana kind of attacked it twice and ran away again, but he is now going to be hiding in this bush. And I said it before, I'll say it again. This game has been a real pleasure, Pulse. So good.
Well, it's certainly deserving of the grand final and the very last game. This is incredibly epic. Absolutely amazing. When you thought it was over, 2 inhibs down, winning that, well, not quite winning that team fight, very sort of even fight, but they had managed to get those structures. Nexus turret down, Curse turn it around and make a big push, picking up an inhib of their own. Baron's up, Drake's up. What's going to happen next? All 3 inhibs are up right now for Curse. It's anyone's game.
As I said, and I hold my hands up, I was completely dead wrong. When Extinct died, I honestly thought that was game over. I thought that had pretty much thrown the game, but I am happy to have been completely off base on that occasion because it's allowed us to have another 10 to 15 minutes at least of epic League of Legends action. And they're now going to be pushing down towards mid. Lots of full item builds coming out from both teams at the moment. So it's just going to be down now once again to who can pull off the engages, who can pull off the big plays. Wall of Pain down from Karthus. Gold advantage after 44.5 minutes is 300. Yes, 300 gold after this amount of time. Through thick and thin, that's what it's came down to. There's no doubting that map control is in favour of Mouse. They have all 3 inhib towers down at the moment. All 3 inhibs are very much vulnerable and open. One of the Nexus towers has also been destroyed. But one inhib has also fallen from Mouse. Lots of tense action featured around this tier 2 tower at top lane. And again, Baron stands tall. I said this before, the atmosphere is so ridiculously tense at the moment. But one small mistake can actually lose you $1,500 at this situation, this time in the game. Wall of Pain again has gone down. Extinct is looking for that perfect ultimate. The ball comes in. It's not going to be on this occasion. In the meantime, though, Prothana's taking a lot of damage. Here comes Crescendo. In amongst all that, Irelia is going to pick up the kill onto Prothana. Maybe wrong place, wrong time, but let's have a look how this team fight kicks off. Going to have the second kill from Oriana on towards Karthus. Here comes the Requiem. There should be Meluno falling at least. Indeed, it will be. And lots of damage on to Clarissa. But the Wish was also popped. Godlike Corki going to go in for a second kill onto Candy Panda. Will pick it up as well. That's going to be a 4-for-2 exchange. And that should be the GG now for Curse.eu. What a brilliant game this has been. And they're going to be able to push it home right here through the Nexus Towers unless Dedrion pulls off the most ridiculous play that you have ever seen in your life.
Oh my god, this game is ridiculous, and we're looking for Dedrion to potentially do something here.
Can he? He would get my MVP instantly if he holds off this attack. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. Not on Corki, and Irelia will just completely plow through him. And that could be the best game of League of Legends that I've ever witnessed in terms of casting. I really loved that game. It was awesome. And Curse.eu, they deserve to take a bow. They were 1-0 behind. They brought it back to win 2-1.
GG, well played coming from both teams, and that was an epic game to finish the night. Wow, what can I say? Just turnaround after turnaround after turnaround, and then when it looked like it was all over for Curse, they got the pick, followed through, and took the victory. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
It's not just how good the game was, it's kind of the situation as well. You've got a finals, the first game was a base race, the second game Mouse kind of made quite a few errors and gave away to Curse.eu, and the third game was just so ridiculously tense from the very get-go. It was at one stage 2-2 after like 10 minutes, and it could have literally been 8-8 at that point. It was such a high-class game throughout, and really enjoyed doing it. And as I said before, I think it's a fitting end to a great tournament.